Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Justin the Food Entrepreneur Show. I'm Justin Bizzarro. I'm your host. That's Bizzarro. For anyone who's out there, you can find us on Instagram at Justin the Food Entrepreneurs or on Facebook as well at that same location. You can also find this show or anything else we're working on Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, as well as Pandora. Podbean and iTunes have the transcripts from the shows, guys. So I know a lot of people take them and put them in AI like ChatGPT or Gemini to get notes or to see a quick version of the episode or highlights after they've listened to it. The transcripts are there so you can do it. That being said, I appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate all the support for Gorilla Brave, all the support for the podcast. Thank you guys for sharing, listening. Thank you for supporting the entrepreneurs on the show. So with that being said, I have Marty Loya with us from Growing with Sarah, as she said, and I like the way she put it. Everyone knows him as Bodega Loya out of Socorro, Texas. How are you doing today, Marty?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Well, this is your show. So I'm going to let you have the mic and tell us your story from little Marty to big Marty and how Bodega Loya sort of came about.
Well, little Marty grew up on the farm, which we are now have named it as Growing with Sarah Farm. We were the typical old McDonald farm. We had all the animals. We had the cows, the sheep, the goats, the pigs, the chickens, you name it. We had it on there. My dad was a cotton farmer, and he also had a dairy where he milked the cows himself with the help of a couple of the workers and sold it to other dairies located in El Paso, Texas. He's a very hardworking person, which I learned quite a bit from. Not so much on the farming side, but just, the ability to work hard. And so I was the country girl. My cousins would come and play with me because they lived, quote unquote, in the city. But it's an experience that a whole lot of kids at this point don't experience anymore. What it's like to live in the farm and what it's like to actually go and pick up eggs from the chickens, no matter where they lay them, because they lay them all over the place. Watching calves being born on the milk cows, watching pigs being born, of little lambs. They're so cute when they're little. I mean, just the whole experience. My cousins showed me how to actually hunt lizards, which I have a story about. A lizard became a pet of mine, and I stored it in a coffee can. Of course, I didn't feed it. I didn't think you had to feed or water the lizard. But my mom walked into the room one day and she said, God, it smells in here. It stinks. Well, the poor lizard didn't make it. Anyway, so those are some of the things that I would experience along the way growing up on the farm.
So, I mean, let's talk about the farm now. It's 100 years. I mean, it's obviously changed maybe a little bit, maybe not, but you do a lot of things, I believe, on there. Let's talk about all the animals that are on the farm, as well as all the sort of crops you guys grow, all sort of the knowledge that you have, because I think it's important to truly understand Growing with Sarah or what Bodega Loya is. We have to understand the diversity by which you guys grow or the animals you have, as well as all the organic practices you guys are using, right?
Right. So through the years, my dad, of course, was the main farmer on the property. In the early 70s, farming got very difficult for him. So him and my mom actually had to go get jobs outside of the house. And then as I grew up, I inherited the farm, which was no longer, it was still a cotton farm, but not to the extent it was when I was growing up. So my husband and I, at the point where, the farm became ours, we were trying to decide, which way we were going to go with it. We knew that cotton was not going to be the crop we wanted to grow because it requires lots of machinery and it depletes the soil from the nutrients and you need farm workers. So it's a little complicated to do that. So in about 2019, we started working with it, my husband specifically, trying to figure out what we were going to do with it. And we decided that we were going to grow produce. And the reason we decided to do that is that we had already fruit trees. We had peach trees, apricot trees, and we had fig. And we learned that we were able to sell those to people just by posting the availability through Facebook. People would come and they would come and bring their bags or whatever, and we would just sell it to them out of the kitchen of the house. When COVID hit, my husband continued doing that, but now he put himself outside and people would roll down the window long or wide enough to give him the money. And so he started selling the fruits as well too. So we knew there was a market for this. We knew that people were wanting fresh fruits and vegetables. So we started looking at the property where the cotton grew. We got the soil tested, and it was interesting because 6 acres, you would think all the soil would be the same, but it wasn't. So he planted some crops on one side, and they didn't do well at all. But we said, okay, well, let's keep going. So we did, and we planted on the other side. And lo and behold, the crops started growing. And so we started talking to people, and we ran across an organization called NRCS, which stands for Natural Resources Conservation, it's part of USDA. And they suggested that we look into setting up a greenhouse, a high tunnel. And we did. And we found that that was a very good decision because the crops did very well all year round in there. So it was a cost share. So they provided some funding for it, and we provided the other, and we had our first greenhouse. So we kept going. We kept going with the vegetables out in the 6 acres, and we learned that pretty much anything we would try to grow, it would grow. My husband had to work with the soil. He had to bring in compost. Chicken manure is the main one, and work with the soil. And using drip irrigation, that's how we got watered. We have 3 water sources right now. We have drip irrigation, we have the original well from the farm, and we have irrigation from the canal, which is from the Rio Grande. We had to stay with the drip irrigation because the well water is very salty. It's got a lot of minerals. And the irrigation, the flood irrigation coming from the Rio Grande is not clean like it used to be. And we would have to test it for coli. So that's probably the beginning of where we're at right now. We now probably are producing in about, I would say, 2.5 acres. And we're producing enough fruits and vegetables to be able to sell it in Bodega Loya, which is our farmers market, which we are open on the weekends. And we also sell to restaurants. We sell to chefs. We sell to a couple of entities where they in turn produce boxes, like subscription boxes, where every week somebody gets their box with full of vegetables, including ourselves. So we have learned that there's a need, there's a want for this type of produce. So our goal is to fill up all 6 acres with produce.
Do you have I noticed on the website it says chicken, quail, and ducks, eggs. Do you have all of those running around the farm as well? And how does that, I mean, because you have the indoor, you're basically doing a lot of it in grow house. You have a lot more acres you can use potentially. But let's talk about the animals on the farm real quick specifically. Is there supporting animals on the farm? If you're using chicken manure, it's obviously good for the soil, but in the volumes you might have to bring it in.
We don't have any animals on the farm now. We source all our eggs from different local farmers, and we bring in the chicken manure, the compost from another farm as well too. You know, taking care of animals like we used to do when I was little is very difficult now, and it's very expensive now as well too. So we decided we were thinking of getting chickens, but then your focus changes and you try to do too much. So we decided that there was enough farmers within the area that we could source the eggs from. We didn't know we were going to do duck and quail and goose and all of that either. They just kind of have come to us and ask us if we'll sell them. We say, sure, we do.
I love this because I think it's very important. I think one, the all humans should try a variety of eggs, a variety of plants, a variety of animals, a variety of milk, all those things, goat, sheep, etc. So I like that this is coming to you. Even emu ostrich, I know, is in Texas for sure. I'm sure that people are growing those or have those eggs there. I'm not sure how that totally works though with the eggs. But talk to me about why the farmers market. What does that look like now? How did you guys build that? Because at first you were just growing this stuff and selling it off the side of the road, but now you're doing more with it. Talk to me about what this looks like now.
So the farm, my husband at a very young age learned how to work with Adobe and how to do restoration of buildings with Adobe. So all the buildings located in the farm, including where the dairy was and the house, they're all Adobe, made out of Adobe. So he restored all the buildings. Where we have the farmers market is actually where they used to work on the tractors, and we retrofitted it with a glass garage door, which has a passage door. So in there is where Bodega Loya operates. We have a refrigerator in there. We have shelving in there. We have a cart in the middle where we set up with baskets and buckets and all our produce. And right next to it, it was the original tool shed where all the equipment, all the tools were stored when they worked on the tractors. And again, my husband retrofitted that and made it a walk-in refrigerator. So it's very convenient that we have everything stored right next to Bodega. So when you come to the property, you get to see where Bodega Loya is located in the refrigerator. The other buildings now, we rent out space. We have 3 little shops. One is a jewelry shop, one is a housewares, and the other one is a little boutique. The original farmhouse where I live is now a coffee shop, and we have over 20 artists, which they display their local art, which we sell we sell it for them as well too. So behind the bodega, right, Jason, is Growing with Sarah Farm. We now have 3 greenhouses. One is a small one where we grow flowers, because we also have someone on our staff who knows how to make teas by drying the flowers and the herbs and making different combinations. And we sell the teas in the bodega dry. And then people can also taste them inside the coffee shop, cold or hot.
This is amazing. So talk to me, where did the name come from, Growing with Sarah?
So Growing with Sarah was a little baby that we lost at 3 months. And ironically, I was going to name the farm something else, and that name was already taken. So Growing with Sarah Farm was our second choice, and it became our first choice. And I thought, man, what a sign that she keeps growing with us, and she pushes us pretty hard.
Sorry about the loss. This is anchored now. You have motivation, you have inspiration in the loss, which is now the growth of the farm. I mean, it's just incredible. Talk to me a little bit about how you guys, your husband and you've taken on a lot. It all started with a USDA, or I'll even started before that. It started with an itch to plant some crops. God pushing, I would say, probably in some ways, the Holy Spirit. And then you plan on the greenhouse. But talk to me about how the partnership here, growth, how all of this sort of has happened as you've taken over the farm, and you've created something greater potentially, and there's no loss there. Now it creates jobs, and it creates crops, and it creates health, and it creates memories. So talk to me about the journey, though, what it was like to build a business, what it's been like to do that as a family.
Well, it's interesting because both my husband and myself, we come from farming background. I was raised on the farm. My father-in-law would grow fresh vegetables at a small scale, and then he would go get more vegetables from the local market and then go sell it to the neighborhood. He'd get in his truck and go sell it. So we had that in our genes. And I think we kind of combined it to a point where we knew that there was there was a need. And nothing told me more than one day there was a man looking out to the farm and he stood there and he said, if we have another pandemic, no problem. I'll just come buy my groceries here. So that just kind of, you think about things and you think about how what the community needs, because we don't know what is happening to our food when it gets to the grocery store. People can tell you things, but we really, really don't know. And the added value that we provide is that people know exactly where their carrots are coming from or where their beets, because we encourage people when they come here. We tell them, go walk around, go check it out. My husband will go out there and the kids get amazed to see him pull the carrots out of the ground. And it's an education because they don't realize that their carrots don't come from the big box. They're coming from a farm somewhere, but we don't know where. So a lot of what we've seen of the need of what happens has inspired us and has encouraged us to keep going because we sense it. And it's hard to find a place like this anymore. When I was growing up along the main road here in Socorro, there were other farmers, and each farmer, depending on what they would grow, they had their own stand along the street. So everybody would park and pick up one thing and go to the next one, pick up something else. And all that's gone away. And unfortunately, we don't see, what we're providing. Just a side note, we also have a mobile Bodega Loya that we go out to the areas where they don't even have a big box. They don't have access to fresh fruits and vegetables. And that was the whole idea behind it, is that we want to provide something that there's a need for. And we think we found it.
I like this a lot. Talk to me more about this idea. How'd you develop the truck? How'd you come up with it, build it? Tell me a little bit more about that.
So when we first started building Bodega Loya, there was a grant available to the University of Houston called HFFI, which stands for Healthy Food Finance Initiative. And it's to promote the building and the selling of fresh produce. So I applied for that grant and we received it. That's what we were able to retrofit the building where the tractors are being worked on and the refrigerator and buy the supplies for the bodega. 2 years later, they had it again. So I applied for the mobile. And so I bought from the grant, I bought what's called a wolf pup trailer, which is basically a trailer that they use to haul like bicycles and motorcycles. It's called a toy hauler. So I bought a used one and I took it so they could kind of gut it out and just put shelves for us and put our logo on the outside, and you know how they do the food trucks and that type of thing. And so we have been doing that. We go to the outskirts. We tried a couple of places, communities. We weren't very successful. We weren't getting a good response. But what I found is the further out we go, where there's less access to this food, the more successful we are. So that's what we do. A lot of people have called us to be part of their farmers markets here in town, but the definition of farmers market is different. It's more selling arts and crafts, which is fine. But there's an education piece behind that. People sometimes will spend their money on other things than fresh produce. So we do go, because we want to help them out because they feel like if we're there, they're going to get more people interested in that. But it's again, educating the community.
I love the trailer. I love the idea behind it. Let's talk about the future a little bit, Marty. Where are you guys driving this? I mean, is there more than one trailer in the future? You're talking about you have 3 greenhouses now. I noticed that you have a variety of things that you're offering, and you're saying how many things you're amazed at you're being able to grow. So I think there's a lot of experimentation. So it's a very open-ended question I just asked, but where does this go? What are the things you're most excited about now? Let's talk about all of those things, because I think that you're on to something, and I agree 100%. This is part of the future. Humans becoming more and more urbanized and less access to where things are grown.
Yep. So basically, two paths. One of the paths is, like I mentioned, is to fill us with 6 acres with produce. That's the end goal. Whether we do it with high tunnels, greenhouses, or we do it out in the ground, I would like to experiment with one greenhouse to where we equip it that we can we can grow products that we normally only grow in the fall, in the winter, like our lettuces, our spinach, because it gets too hot here to grow those in the summer. So I would like to take one of those greenhouses and equip it to where it's cool enough to where we could continue all year round growing some of those fruit products. Because people already are sad because we don't have spinach. They're sad because we don't have lettuce, we don't have cilantro, because it's too hot to grow those. So that's one thing. The other thing is labor is very difficult and very expensive. So I'm going down the road in incorporating some technology on the farm. And this is our third year. We've been working with a university here where they have a program where you have interns work in different places, and we've had interns work on the farm. And for the last 2 years, been working on an area where you use drone technology, actual drones, and using imagery and using AI. And this is AI, and it's not the new AI. It's AI that I've known for many years because my background is engineering. That using technology will help you identify where there's potential problems with a crop, either pests or lack of water or soil. And that in itself could help with the labor situation, because by the time, if you have 6 acres full of plants, by the time things are identified by a human being, it's gonna wipe out either a whole row or a good chunk of a row if it's been infected or whatever the problem is. The other thing that we're doing this year with the interns again, they're using sensors to identify whether the soil has enough moisture in it or maybe too much moisture. Because again, that's going to help us identify where we need to either water more or water less. So those are the things that I'm experimenting with right now. Nothing solid as far as implementation of these things, but at least to know that, hey, let's go after this one in particular, or let's try all three, or whatever the situation. So technology is big. And then the third item that I didn't mention was strategic partnerships. I mean, we could possibly do this on our own, but I think it's important that we partner up with like the entities that are providing the subscription boxes, because they know about us, they're happy with our produce, they like what they see. So continue down that path as well too. So those are basically the areas where we're pursuing with.
I like this. I assume you guys are open year round then, based on Texas weather, or no?
Yes, we are. So we're seasonal. Whatever grows in the winter and the fall, that's what we produce. And whatever grows in the summer and spring, that's what we produce. So yes. And it's another education. It's hard to explain to people why we don't have watermelons in January. Well, watermelons aren't going to grow here in January.
Yeah, that is true.
So, yeah.
Okay, I like this a lot. What do you enjoy most doing in the business, you personally?
I think so. I'm still working full time at another job, and the weekends I'm here at the bodega, and I enjoy working that, talking to people, showing them around, giving the tour. You know, we've had people, friends, relatives that we hadn't seen in years come by, and they're amazed at what we're doing. And you know, it's just a satisfaction. The kids, my husband does, is part of summer camp for the kids. He shows them about the fruits and vegetables and how they grow and the pollinators. And this year he's even added making adobe bricks. And they're real excited about playing in the mud. So, you know, just seeing the smiles of people and the gratitude and, you know, the welcoming that we can provide them.
I like the summer camp. I think that's amazing. I grew up on a farm too. My mom used to do summer camp, or the local summer camp used to come there to do activities on our farm as well. I think that's pretty amazing. And I
Yeah,
think it's important for kids to have the interaction with animals and plants and how we grow things, and that we're not the only things on this planet. So,
yeah.
yeah.
And to be grounded, right?
Yeah.
We got to be grounded.
I
Yeah.
looked at a statistic the other day. I can't remember the exact number, but I was astonished by how many households don't have a single pet, not even a fish, and or a lizard or a hamster in the United States. And it's very high actually. Most families don't have pets, so they don't even have the interaction with animals. So I mean, that's something I think we're missing for sure, is that we're not alone, and that there's many, many, many animals or plants or ways things are done. And we don't just get to see them at the grocery store, the aftermath.
Exactly. Yep. And we tell people even though to come down, even if we're not open for business, just walk around the farm, get some fresh air, or, just sit and enjoy the fig tree and, do some reading out there, whatever you want to do. So we encourage people to do that because we think it's important. Because I mean, I grew up on the farm and we built a house next to it, so I have moved feet, not miles, just feet.
Is there anything you want to share that maybe we didn't cover or I didn't ask you during the show so far?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we pretty much have covered anything. Maybe the other thing that we provide also,
Uh-huh.
we provide or we have the ability to accept the food stamp card, the SNAP card for people that are less fortunate and, have to use that to buy their groceries. But in addition to that, we're part of another program that anybody that uses their SNAP card, they get 50% off their fruits and vegetables, which is pretty outstanding, especially where prices are right now. And this is all the time. It's not a special, it's just that we're part of that program. And there's only two entities in town that accept it. This us and another one.
Yeah, I think that's amazing actually, and that you got it for fresh produce and stuff. That's pretty cool. This is going to be my last questions. Let's talk about employees. This farm's been in your family a long time. You guys have brought a lot of people, created a lot of jobs, or allowed others to create jobs. Let's talk about what that looks like: morale, ethics, values, how you inspire everyone, how you create a good environment on the farm from with the employees, hiring them, etc.
Yeah. And, we try to help the employees as much as possible because, like we have single moms, for example, we have college kids. One of the workers in the farm got laid off from his job and never worked on the farm before, but he's learned and he's doing a great job. So it's a variety. I mean, we don't have highly educational people. They're good people, they're smart people. They don't have degrees, but they're very hard workers and they enjoy it. I mean, they enjoy going out to the farm and harvesting and being able to do the same thing and how they're learning from my husband how to grow things and it's a very friendly, happy environment. I just did a presentation to a group here on Wednesday and I named the presentation The Little Farm That Could. Just like the train that could, we're the little farm that could. We didn't know whether we could do it. We kept saying, I think we can, but we've been able to and we're going to keep working at it.
I love this. As a team, you and your husband, superpowers, what are the things that you think you do the best and what are the things that he does the best that make this so successful, the business? I think your partnership is part of it, your belief in one another, but I want to hear it from you.
So his focus is all the farming and any kind of construction required. My focus is the back end, all the accounting, partnerships, meetings, employees, staff. So we come together. We have our bumps on the road where we disagree, or I'm telling him, no, don't plant so much, or plant this instead of that, and he's like, hey, let me deal with the farm, you deal with the other stuff. So, we meet in the middle for sure.
Where can everyone find you online? Where can they find your website? Where can they find your address? How can they come visit you guys?
So they can follow us on Instagram. It's Bodega Loya. We have a website. It's gwsfarm.com. And we're located in Socorro, Texas at 10257 Socorro Road, Socorro, Texas 79927.
Awesome. Thank you, Marty. I appreciate your time and I appreciate you guys coming on the show. I hope to have you guys back on and tell a part two as things continue to grow. And I need to come see what you guys are doing down there. I want to make a trip. El Paso's not too far from here in Denver. So I'm going to try to make this happen because I'm interested in seeing what you guys are doing. So I appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate your time. I also appreciate what you guys are doing, creating jobs, being organic farmers, giving to the community, bringing it to the community, and then finding ways to make it affordable, such as SNAP and those type of things. I think those are really incredible things to do for the world around us. And as you said, farms pollinate, so you're also pollinating the world around you, not just the fruits and vegetables. So
yep, we agree. Yep. Well, I appreciate
you. I appreciate you. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Everyone in the audience, please like, share, comment on the episode if you like it. If you're in Texas, make your way out to Growing with Sarah Farms. You can find them again at Bodega Loya. And thank you guys. I love you guys, and we're out.